corporate tax.
Okay, so
the whole idea is that you are basically you need to globally you need to pay certain taxes, but it depends on where you register your company. There are advantages to be gained to put up your operations in one country and another country, and then money moves quickly between those countries. So that in every country you can reduce basically the source country. That's where you have your shops. That's where you have your infrastructure. That's where you provide your services. But then by moving it to these countries, you reduce your tax burden to a absolute minimum, which means that actually, so you generate profit in countries. You use the public facilities there, but you're not paying your taxes over there. You're paying your taxes in countries where it's more beneficial, where it's lower for you.
The kind of paying tax structure has not been changed yet.
So actually, it is changing because now countries are competing with each other. Like I said in the video, Canada has reduced its profit tax. UK has reduced its profit tax. Everywhere, countries are now reducing their profit tax. And we saw in Africa that every country is now offering like tax holidays. So it is a race to the bottom. In order to make sure that people are still investing in your country, you need to bring a more attractive tax deal. That effectively leads to a loss in tax revenues. And what that means, because governments need money, they actually need to increase their VAT. That's the consumption tax. Not the profit tax, but the consumption tax. And companies like Facebook and Google, they don't consume a lot of the money that they earn, because basically they earn too much of it. So they only consume a small percentage of the money that they earn. It's the consumers, the people who actually have very low income, who don't have much possibility to save money. So that means that they spend almost 100% of their income on consumption. Now, if that is being taxed, that means that the tax revenues disproportionately fall on the people who have very little money.
And in the case of Britain, their sales is actually many percentage of the sales amount is treated the brand cost transfer to overseas.
Yeah, so but that's a paper construction, of course, because I mean, how can you quantify the intellectual property rights of that brand? So you can claim that it's worth 50% of the cup of coffee, but you can also claim that it's worth 20% of the cup of coffee. But if you claim that it's 50% of the cup of coffee, then you can reduce the profit in the UK by 50%.
But actually, even if this is not fair, but they follow on their tax system or legality or legalize.
Yes. So because the Netherlands offers this opportunity, and they say, well, okay, but we have a company in the Netherlands. Look, we are registered, so we have a company in the Netherlands, and that takes care of all our intellectual property rights. So that means that if that country, if we have all our intellectual property rights registered in the Netherlands, then we should pay tax over there.
Actually,
but the real reason,
this is not the case of Cayman Island, that they are paying tax at Netherlands.
Actually, Cayman Islands, there is zero profit tax.
No, this is my question is Starbucks case. Actually, escape tax from England, so those money transferred to Holland. But Netherlands, they are not paying tax in Netherlands, or they're paying tax in Netherlands?
No, because actually the remaining profits, because that's a property tax company, is owned by a company in the Cayman Islands.
So actually, those money transferred to Cayman Islands.
Yes. So it sits in a bank somewhere in the Cayman Islands, and then of course, ultimately the taxpayers need to pay, the shareholders would like to have dividend on their taxes, but that means if it goes to the US, then it's taxable. So what they're trying to do is to not pay dividends, but to accumulate money and use that for investments to put that back and invest more money. But they're doing that without paying taxes. Another thing that happens is that actually, because there is so much money in the Cayman Islands, that it's not making any money in the Cayman Islands because there's no economic activity in the Cayman Islands. What happens is that they are buying government bonds of the UK, for example, to pay for infrastructure, to pay for education, to pay for all these things. So that money goes back to the UK anyway, but not as profit tax, but as a loan.
But still, I don't understand clearly. Okay, they just transfer money in the name of land, transfer money to Holland, and from Holland to Cayman Island. How are they going to bring those profit to Cayman Island? Escaping tax in Holland.
Okay, understand. Who owns the property rights company?
Property right.
That's a daughter company of the parent company in Bermuda, or the Cayman Islands.
Property right.
So it's a company who owns a company who owns a company. So the Cayman Islands,
property right. They can transfer money because of property right. Property right is they going to charge 80% of their sales or something like that.
So the holding company owns a property. That owns a company that holds the property rights of Starbucks. That company is located in the Netherlands.
How they can transfer the money to Cayman Island? How they going to, even the property right, Holland, the government approved that kind of property right for Starbucks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but that property rights company is owned again. So it's not the final destination. That company is also owned. It's like a pyramid. So the Dutch company is owned by a Cayman company. So basically, you can see it as a scheme where the German company falls under a Dutch holding company, which is part of a holding company in Cayman. So the tax.
But my common sense, okay, even if you owned by foreign company, but actually this company physically selling a certain level amount in Netherlands. So at the concept of common sense, they should pay tax at Netherlands. How come they don't need to pay tax in Holland?
They pay tax in the Netherlands, but they pay very limited tax in the Netherlands. And then where does the profit go? The profit goes back to the parent company, which is a company in the Cayman Islands.
But this is what I don't understand. How they cannot evade a tax payment in Holland? Oh, okay, just my simple opinion is, okay, they're going to send $100 in Netherlands. They got revenue $100, but they need to pay tax for $100, even if what kind of parent company it is. But why not? No. They don't need to pay tax for them.
They only tax the property rights. They only manage the patents in the Netherlands.
Only manage
the patents.
Patent.
So they own the patents. The patents are basically providing a service to the coffee shops in Germany or in England.
You mean brand, right?
Yes.
Again, just this Starbucks tell the Holland government like 80% of sales or 60% of sales is brand need to be paid to Cayman Island.
So basically, okay, a cup of coffee costs €2. €1 is because of the brand, another is because of the production of coffee and everything else. So €1 of every cup of coffee sold in the UK goes to the Netherlands. That's a cost that's being invoiced to England, because basically you use our patents, right? So you use our intellectual property right. Our intellectual property right is worth €1. So from every revenue that you make in England, half of it flows to the Netherlands, right? So that property right is being taxed 2%, maybe less.
I understand this structure, but Dutch government.
So otherwise, this money would have been taxed, let's say 30% in the UK. But because it's at 2%, €2 times 30%, let's say that the actual profit is without the property tax.
I understand it, but how come Britain and Holland, they don't change tax structure?
Well, how come they don't change? Because it's very beneficial for the Netherlands. Because they don't do anything. They just allow a post box company to be established in the Netherlands. They create employment and they bring a lot of accountant firms into the Netherlands. They come into existence to support these tax schemes, and we get a little bit of extra tax revenue. But basically, the Netherlands is gambling the system, the global tax system. What they're doing is legal, but the effect of what they're doing is that actually a lot of tax base is being evaporated because of these tax schemes.
Like the last week you discussed about French government, they changed the policy, right? They tax it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you followed the news, but now Trump is threatening to tax wine imports from France.
Right?
Yeah.
Is this going to be tendency for they try to change tax system?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, tax system is constantly, that's not new. Actually, the tax system has been changing over time. Like tax systems, tax deals are being made everywhere. But the only thing is that you don't need anything in a country. You can set up a mailbox company. You don't even have to be there. You just outsource it, and so it's really like it's a homogeneous good, you could say. Now, homogeneous good, and if it doesn't have any transaction costs other than just opening up that company there and just letting your money flow through it, then the lowest price wins, because it doesn't really matter whether I put my like electronic transaction through Kenya or through the Netherlands or through Alaska. It doesn't matter, because the money just needs to touch their bank accounts for a second, and then it flows through. So if there is a country that offers me a better tax deal, then I would take it.
But for Amazon or Facebook or Starbucks, their business is not fair for their country, selling country.
No, that's absolutely right.
Right.
So, but how many people are aware of this?
Or you mean the many people doesn't aware that kind of business? But government doesn't recognize that.
I mean, I see the upside. So I'm a customer of Amazon, for example. I like their service. They bring groceries directly to my front door. Excellent service. The prices are reasonable. So it's all good. But if you realize how much tax Amazon pays to Japan, actually something is wrong there.
Yeah.
So they're making good profit. They're driving other companies out of business. They're driving supermarkets out of business.
Right.
Why? One of the reasons why, and one of the very important reasons, is they don't pay the taxes that the local supermarkets pay.
Exactly. That's the reason that they can a big advantage against the other supermarket, other companies.
Right.
But
and that's why even small entrepreneurs in the US, even though they are screwed because of these import restrictions that Trump is imposing against China. Even companies that have changed their system, that have their supply chain and started to source from China, for example, who are now in big trouble because of these import restrictions into the U.S. I heard interviews with these people, and they still applaud the fact that Trump is doing this because something needs to stop. They didn't choose to do this; they were forced to do this. Otherwise, their company wouldn't survive.
But this is, I think, I don't understand well. How come they don't need to pay tax even if they try to follow in legal tax system? But they should pay.
They are paying tax. They're paying tax. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
Look,
but
they're
too
paying
small.
tax. Yeah.
You know, that's too
Yeah,
small.
but what they're saying is that, okay, if I'm doing something illegal, then you can put me in jail. But I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, I know, but this is compared with the other company. They are paying too small, so they're going to need to change tax system. This is
But
my
okay,
common sense.
how can you do that? You need, you're right. But then we need to create a United Nations, and a United Nations for taxation, and we need to abolish all the tax havens in the world. And if countries like the Cayman Islands keep on offering good deals to multinationals, we need to invade them, and we need to make sure that they stop offering these kinds of tax constructions. Otherwise, I mean, that's the only solution. But do you see that happen?
No, but it's almost time, but there's no way to fix it. We're going to discuss anyway this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's almost time. Takahashi, do you
Okay.
understand what he said?
Yeah. Okay.
I understand, but I don't agree with that kind of issues. American IT company or Amazon or other company deal in business. This is not acceptable for me in my common sense. Okay?
No, I think that everybody is like you. Everybody feels that something is wrong here. But I also remember Trump, when he was asked about his imports from China, because he imported from China.
Oh,
Said,
okay.
yeah,
This
well,
is the
I'm
other
a
issue.
businessman.
This is the
And
other
I have a
issue.
responsibility.
The other issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much today.
Okay.
It's time. So this Saturday,
Okay.
right? Takashi, can you
Yes.
join this Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
For today. Bye bye.
Bye
Okay.
bye. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
And have a good day.